this little pattern is one that works really well when the fish are up in the top layers of water, and it's a kind of fly, it's nothing, it's pretty much got no colour. So this is the colour, strawberry shortcake, and it's like kind of the original biscuity colour, washed out nothingness, tiny, it's probably a curl that's went wrong or something, but nearly white, nearly white. And with this one I've got these tan foam eyes. These are small, they're like 4mm. Just check. Yeah, about 3mm, 4mm for these ones, and we want to get them nice and small. But it's one of these flies where you fish it in the right manner. So fish it on a tip line or even a floating line with nymphs. But you'll find that the majority of fish take this. Even the better fish will take this. And the key is this crazy bright trigger, I think, in the point. It's a single bit of brightness in the whole fly. Easy enough fly to tie, but one you need the right materials to tie it with. So I'll go ahead and tie them. First thing I'll do, when I'm fishing flies higher in the water, I really like silver hooks. This is a short shank special, size 8. Stick them in the vise, nice and tight. And you can use whatever tying thread, but what I will say is the stuff that's got to be the tag, it's probably got to come through anyway when it's really wet. But I like to use this, it's a silly boy, light Cahill 80. Come down to a point sort of opposite the barb there. I'll just come up a little bit. If I go down to the bottom, you'll see I'm at a point opposite the barb. That's kind of where I want to be now. The key to this stuff is this. It's so bright it hurts my eyes. And it's a darning cord or thread. It's a fabric basically. Moline by DMC. And it's basically a craft shop floss. It's insanely bright. If I take some of that light off, even with the light off, you can see it's just crazy, crazy bright. And that's the key. So one strand of that, you just take one strand. There's several strands make up one strand, as you can see there, and then just catch that in. Leave yourself a little bit of space because obviously you want a bit of space for your booby eyes, and then just come down and touch and turns, and again stop at your point opposite the barb of the hook. Come in with your scissors, and you want with the same length as the body, so come back. You've got to have eyes there, so same length till you got up to the eye, so you can see the length there. That's about it. Just about there. Not too long. And then just cut that. Move that light a little bit because it's really bright. Come on. So the next thing you want to do, because it's strands, come in with a bit of Velcro. And then just pull it back up the hook shank. Well, you can see what I'm doing, just fluffing it up basically. But it just separates all the fibre and it ends up looking like floss. You see? Silly bright. Silly, silly bright. That light's just too much. Give me a second, see if I can fix it. There you go. And it's just a super, super bright floss. So Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of my strawberry, this is a 15mm, and clear the decks at the front end so I've got a little tag end here. Secure that in. Now I'll put a little bit of moisture on the frits. Not too much, I don't want it soaking and dripping all over the place, but enough. So come up to where your eyes will be. And then just a little bit finish there. So when you're dealing with frits or chenille or anything like that, crystal hackle, every time you take a turn, like you would with a hackle and a wet fly, stroke the fibres back before you turn. Okay, up, stroke the fibres back, turn, up, stroke those fibres back and turn, and just continue that, and touch and turns. What you don't want is to miss pulling it towards the hook shank, otherwise you get a sticky out bit of frits, it just looks rubbish. Everybody says blobs are simple to tie, however getting them right, I would say they can be the hardest. So with the modern fritzes that we've got, they're pretty good. So that fritz is wanting to turn there, so I need to make sure I keep it wet. I've probably got one more turn in there. Keep that wet. Pull everything back. And then what I'll do is I'll take my at an angle with my thumbnail and then just secure that. Couple of wraps. And what I always do is, rather than using my scissors, I prefer a blade when I'm dealing with frits. It's just far cleaner with your fingers. So we've got the blob basically, but this fly's a booby. It performs far better as a booby. Stroke the fibres back. Now you have to watch it because your fingers are wet. You'll get a lot on your fingers, a lot of strands on your fingers. But with really close touching turns with your fingers in the way, you should get like that. So everything's back. It's out the way like that. And then with these, what we do is I'll cut that in half. So I only want about 1 centimetre to work from. And then I round the ends off and I give it just a little bit of heat and I end up with these little pellets. Perfect for the eyes. So I take a little bit of thread and catch that in the middle, loop it over itself. There's different ways of touching booby eyes. I prefer this one. That's not quite perfect because we're doing a fly tying video. Let's see if we can get it perfect. So a little bit further over there, and you can see, actually I need to bring them up a bit so you can see there I've got the perfect booby eyes matched up. And then just keep the fibres out of the way and wind that onto the hook shank. That's him. And then come through the fibres with figure of 8 wrap. So in between the eyes, down over the eye of the hook. Make sure you're not catching any of the frits in there. And then through the eyes, nice and neat. I've caught some of the frits there. That's better. And there's your little stealth biscuit booby with that really bright tag. And then I'll just come in and pull the eyes back out the way and whip finish. Now for a little bit added security here, what you can do is a little bit, because I've done those wraps, everything should be fine, but you can always just come in a little bit of glue, and I always stick a little bit underneath, but I always stick a little bit in between the eyes as well, tiny touch underneath, and then just pull the eyes down a little bit in between the eyes, sit them back up, And that's him. Your little stealth biscuit. Just a great fly to fish. I love that tail. And just a really good fly to fish. You know, fish are high up in the water, so try it. Try it in different sizes if you want, but I just find that the smaller version seems to work better. I dare say a bigger version might work earlier in the year. However, earlier in the year I prefer the bright stuff. So yeah, biscuit booby, little cracker. Try it, and I'd love to hear how you get on with it.